Welcome to CYA's first podcast. I'm Holly and I am the Digital Engagement and Communications Assistant.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm Participation Lead for Emotional Wellbeing and Mental Health, and I facilitate CYA.
Today we're joined by 4 young people from CYA, which stands for Consulting Youth Advisors, to talk about Mental Health Awareness Week, which takes place in May. This episode has been shaped directly by young people, from ideas to themes to what really needs to be said. So thank you all for being part of it. Would you please introduce yourself?
My name is Sarah and I'm fairly new, but I am involved in other groups within the Surrey Youth Council.
I'm Jordan and I'm also fairly new to CYA, but I look forward to many more opportunities within CYA.
My name's Annie. I've been a member of CYA since I was 16.
Hi, my name is Cedra and I've been to a few meetings. I'm also in other groups within the Surrey Youth Council.
Before we get into the conversation, can someone explain what CYA is and why spaces like this matter for young people?
CYA is a group of people with mental health issues and also share your views on how mental health services can be improved in Surrey.
I think a space like this matters because it raises awareness to mental health problems and it evokes change within our society.
We thought it would be fitting to centre this episode around Mental Health Awareness Week and some of the themes that came up when we visited CYA last month. One big thing that came up was that mental health is still really misunderstood. Things like anxiety, depression, and more complex mental health needs. Does anyone want to jump in? What do you think people get wrong about mental health?
People think that depression is being lazy, when in reality it is not. It is so much more.
People get mixed up with mental illness and well-being. You can't tell someone with mental illness to get up or take a walk, as this can make them worse or can be harmful. Well-being is how we feel about different parts of our everyday lives on a daily basis. Mental illness is diagnosed. One can have mental illness but high well-being and vice versa.
I think what people get wrong about mental health illnesses is how hard everything could be. How even getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, washing your hair can be a very big challenge to people who suffer with these conditions. For example, with depression, it is the most talked about mental health illness, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood, as people self-diagnose and misdiagnose themselves for being sad, while in reality it's more than just being sad. It's struggling with normal day-to-day things.
People that are autistic or that have autism struggle with their mental health more, or can do, because they get very tired and fatigued of masking all day long, especially women and girls.
Another theme was pressure, especially pressure around school, college, exams, and expectations. For young people doing exams right now, what's something you wish more people understood?
I think people with mental health issues struggle with expectations, as they are usually called lazy and they aren't trying hard enough because of what they're struggling with. I think the fear-mongering of exams make it even harder to revise because that day might just be challenging for you.
That is okay if it takes longer to get to your goal.
I wish more people understood the pressure of exams and how much of the impact it can have negatively on people's mental health.
There was also a lot of discussion about how mental health progress isn't linear and how online it can sometimes feel glamorized. Does anyone want to talk about why seeing perfect recovery stories online can actually make things harder?
You compare yourself too much, and it's also misleading. And social media definitely isn't real. The more you compare yourself, the more negative thoughts that you have, which can actually worsen your mental health.
I think people glamorize mental health, especially on TikTok and Instagram, for marketing purposes, as people can get more brand deals and they can grow a bigger audience, which allows them to have more followers for money, as it can make it harder for young people to watch if they're struggling with mental health, because it doesn't show the reality of struggling with certain illnesses. It doesn't show how young people's emotions fluctuate during their episodes.
Because they think everybody looks like models, and they think they want to compare themselves to that model and look very like that person. So some people lose a lot of weight to compare themselves to another person.
So this year's Mental Health Awareness Week focuses on action. And at CYA, young people said action shouldn't mean fixing everything overnight. Action came up as small steps, manageable routines, and knowing when to leave or step back from a situation. What is one small, realistic action that's helped your mental health or that you think people don't talk about enough?
I think starting off your day with a positive thought can change your mindset for the rest of the day, as it allows you to feel better about yourself, which is very important.
Say a positive quote in the morning, and also look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, I'm pretty, I look nice, I smell nice.
Don't bottle yourself up, as this can turn into anger, which channels into hatred towards yourself and others. It's okay to take a step back and just talk about how you feel, then when you're ready on a deeper level.
I think what's really important as well is trying to find things that make you happy on a good day. Because if you have mental health and you are struggling, it can be really hard to think of positive affirmations while you are also trying to survive.
If you could go back and tell your past self one thing about mental health or asking for support, what would it be?
I think one important thing to tell my past self would be not to look your conditions up online, as it can give you a fake idea of what you are dealing with.
Don't just try and cram everything inside and just take a step back and take it slowly.
Be brave, a problem solved is a problem halved.
One thing I would say to my younger self is that things do get better and easier, and to see a rainbow you have to go through the storm, and to also just to reach out and know that there is support out there for you.
Everybody's story is different, so please be kind.
I think what I would tell my younger self is all of the things that you have already said. And I would also just want to tell my younger self that things do get easier to deal with. Things will still be hard, but as you get older, you get better at dealing with them, and knowing how to weather the storm.
I would also tell my younger self to have a clear picture of what I want in the future, so that way I could stay motivated for my end goal, as it can be really hard to manage tough days without having something to motivate me.
When we planned this podcast, people talked a lot about podcasts themselves, and some of you said you listen for hours and some don't usually listen at all. So we've got a quick fire round. Do you prefer long podcasts or short podcasts?
I think depending on each episode, podcast should be long or short. For example, if we need to talk about a subject that needs to be more detailed, then a long podcast would be more better.
I would say short, because if people are at college or at school, it's easy for them to listen to it in their break time.
I like long podcasts in the background when I'm drawing.
Definitely long podcasts, especially when it's a topic that I find really interesting and I have to know about.
Nice. And another quick fire question. What is something that actually helps you switch off?
Just going straight to sleep.
For me, just playing video games on my Nintendo Switch.
For me, walking and audiobooks.
For me, it's just giving myself a minute to relax so I can actually switch off and take a break.
To finish up, if there's one message you want young people listening to take away from this conversation, what would it be?
I would say that trauma doesn't heal overnight. You need to try and manage your problems one step at a time, because it can be overwhelming trying to tackle everything all at once.
Mental health gets better over time. Take things slowly and things will get better.
Your experience is unique to you, so definitely do not compare yourself to others. Don't compare your struggles.
There you have it, everyone. Mental health doesn't have a quick fix. Progress isn't linear, and small steps really do matter.
Thank you so much to everyone from CYA for sharing your time, honesty and experiences.
If anything discussed today has affected you, support is available. Links will be in the description.
Stay tuned for our next podcast. Follow Surrey Youth Voice on social media and find out how to get involved.